Question for the week: independent woman with providing man.
Okay. If you have a providing man, you're not an independent woman. Next.
So this is actually from a man.
Oh. Well, then if you are providing for a woman and she claims to be independent, you're not providing enough. Next.
Those two things do not coincide.
No, they don't.
Being independent while simultaneously being part of a team.
Being an adult. You guys just get a fancy word for it. You get to wear your adulthood as like a badge. Like, yeah, I'm an independent woman. And I'm like, congratulations, you're an adult.
Oh, yeah.
We don't get to do that. I'm a strong, independent man. I work. Yeah, you're supposed to. We don't get cool stuff.
Technically, if we're going back to things like the traditional aspect and whatnot, women are not supposed to be working outside of the household. The men are supposed to be doing the strenuous is not the word. Strenuous, grueling.
Were you about to say grunt work?
No, I strenuous and grueling.
Okay.
I don't even know what I said the first time now.
Grenuous.
Grenuous.
Peachisms.
Oh my goodness. We aren't supposed to be doing that. I like being dainty and feminine and taking care of the house and having fresh baked bread when you get home and shit. I thrive in that.
Yeah.
When I was that I'm a woman, hear me beat on my chest, I can do everything a man can do, fuck all men, I 100% was seeking a pat on my back for all the shit. I would bring it up whenever I had the opportunity to. Yeah, I pay my own rent, I pay my own bills, this is how much I'm making, and I'm struggling, but I'm doing it as a single mom. And then I would cry myself to sleep at night.
Yeah. That's rough.
That was the life that I was choosing.
But there's an honesty to that. Like, there's an honesty to that. I wonder how many people feel that way but won't admit the crying at night part.
Oh, because it's weakness.
Right.
Yeah, I would ugly sob, especially the nights that I didn't have the kids. Like
that
they were
loneliness.
at their dad's house.
Yeah.
Those nights I would be ugly crying, binge eating, watching Rick and Morty on TV because it was an escape from my life, and I absolutely hated everything about my life.
Yeah.
Even though I was fat. I was 340 pounds. I was that hardcore raging fourth wave feminist, and I would shit on men who were not deserving of it, and I would have to put on that facade of being confident because, well, you can't see that I'm insecure and fat. I have to show you that I'm not that. And bottling that shit, it would explode. And yeah. I was in a toxic cycle of my own making. Oh, I'm so much happier now. Thank you for this life. Hi, guys. Love what you do. I had just recently discovered your podcast via YouTube and absolutely love it and share it with many people and share it with as many people as I possibly can. You offer so much value and are an integral part of this society and wish that there were more of you guys. Background and context. Just recently, I have engaged in dating again and found this most wonderful woman that we instantly clicked. We have been dating for about 6 months now. I recognize that this relationship is still very new and fresh, but still have some questions if you could be able to help me out with advice. This great woman is someone who has not been in a committed relationship for about 3 years now, like myself, and has started dating again like myself. Unfortunately, her last relationship of 5 years was filled with emotional, mental, and some physical abuse, which has led her to be guarded and tentative when it comes to opening up to the idea of love and commitment, which I totally understand, respect, and recognize. Throughout these years, she has become a very independent woman, living on her own, providing everything for herself, and has her own career. She is huge on having her own space, alone time, and time to decompress, which I respect greatly. Our dating has been great, and we both have had open discussion about our pasts and what our intentions are and what we want engaging in this relationship with one another. We both have agreed to take this relationship slow and to build a solid foundation for each other. And here lies my question. Going into this relationship with her, I recognize and understand that with what she has gone through before, that there will be certain things that will take time and patience. As a man, how can I be a better man for her and be good for her? How can I better go through this journey alongside her, helping her open up to the idea of love and be there for her? I want to be able to provide for her, make things easier in life because she already has so much on her plate. I want to alleviate some of that stress on her. To me, being able to do these things for her, even simple things, empowers me as a man. But sometimes she refuses my help on things, and sometimes I do not know how to get her to know that it is okay to let go of the reins a bit and trust me as a man, and that I can provide for her, and I will always be there for her.
I think a lot of this comes down to time.
I was about to say, it comes down to time. It also comes down to her healing herself.
Right. Well, if you've been together for 5 days and you're like, hey, girl, let me pay your rent.
No, thank you.
Yeah, right? She's independent. She's been doing this on her own for 3 years. She doesn't need you.
Mm-hmm.
You guys need to build that foundation and the teamwork and then start working the structure to do things together. That if you guys have been doing this for 6 months or a year, maybe you need to have conversations of like, hey, I really foresee this being a long-term thing. I would like to take some of the burden off of you. How can I help you? Instead of trying to tell her how you're going to help.
Right. Or you could say, what are some things I can do to show you, to gain that trust?
Right.
There are small things that she can let go of. She probably hasn't even thought about that. But if you were to pose the question of what are some small things I can take off your plate to alleviate the stress, along with building your trust and that you can trust me as your man.
Yeah. I also think it's important, men, that if you're five weeks into a relationship with somebody, you shouldn't be going above and beyond.
No.
You should be building the foundation still and learning each other's communication habits and working on that. Don't try to go in there and play Captain Save-A-Ho. Like, go in there and fucking build that foundation. Make sure that she's worthy of your time. Make sure that you're the man that she can fucking, the man that you need to be, you know what I mean, for her, because everybody's got a different requirement of what they see in a man. But, like, I wouldn't be over there cutting her grass and shit and, like, making car payments and doing all that shit until that foundation's settled a little while. Give it some time. This is a time thing. She spent 3 years on her own, and so did you. If you guys were to just jump into a relationship and jump into living together, your entire world would become chaos, and that routine would go away. Like, workout routines would fail. Diets would start to go to shit. Like, all of your normal structure, and I'm just using my normal structure, your normal structures will fall apart because you didn't establish a new system. And that's part of that time of building a foundation. You can't just jump in and do that shit. I would start with sleepovers. Figure out who's got the bigger house. Like, if you guys are serious and you want a long-term thing, go slow with it. I'm not saying, date for 6 years and then talk about moving in. I'm saying that you need to really build a foundation and make sure that you two are going to mesh before you start taking on somebody else's responsibilities.
Some things that you can do to subconsciously gain her trust is start opening doors for her. Walk on the side of traffic.
Is that really a thing for you?
It is a thing for me, yeah.
Why?
Because when I walk into a building by myself, the first thing I do is scan the room.
Okay.
I'm immediately looking for threats, especially at a gas station. If you open the door for me, you're the first one to reach that door. You're the first one to look into that door, and you've already decided that it's safe for me to enter. So that alleviates a survival instinct in me.
Do you think that that's a common thing for women to feel that way?
Subconsciously, I think it is, yes. I believe, and I will die on this fucking hill, that 99% of the women in the world subconsciously have the primal need to feel protected and safe. And that is something that is squashed and beaten to the ground and buried with the independent, fuck all men, I can do everything that you can do. I was raised by a single mom and I watched her struggle. So, doesn't mean you have to struggle.
What a fucking statement. I was raised by a single mom and I watched her struggle. She was able to do it, so I can do it. Yeah, but do you want to struggle?
Right, why would you want? I had that mindset.
Yeah.
I watched my mom struggle and she pulled through. You're negating all of the mental effects of that, though. By empowering the struggle of it, well, what about the fallout of it? I could have 100% turned out into an alcoholic piece of shit who was not a present mother for her children. And I decided not to because that struggle was not worth it for me.
Right. So you think that men just taking the role of the gentleman is going to, just that act alone is enough to, like, get women to open up and be a little bit more, I don't know, willing is not the right word because that it could be taken sexual, but
open emotionally?
I don't know how to word what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Willing is the word that comes to mind, but that's not, I don't want to say that because of the way it's going to be taken. But knowing that just opening the doors and, like, keeping you in a safe scenario makes you want to relinquish things that you're doing to me. Those are mindless, easy things.
Well, for you it is.
It'll be like that for anyone if they practice it for 6 months.
Right. If they practice it, certainly.
Right. It becomes second nature at that point, and you'll do it with everyone. If you have a kid, you've already got that established because you're not going to let your kid run in a parking lot.
Right.
So it's the same thing. It's just a keep your person safe mentality. I don't know.
I think it also comes down to an emotional safety too. There's an emotional safety that you provided for me that allowed me to open up.
Yeah.
And if I make a mistake, I know you're not going to call me stupid.
Right.
If I come to you and ask you a question, I'm not going to be berated for it. You're super willing to be helpful and educate me on things. And I think that's also a massive part contributing to me being able to let go of the reins on things and be less of that independent, fuck all men woman and be more of that submissive housewife and teammate partner. Any final thoughts before I keep reading?
Nope. I really do think that a lot of this comes down to time. I wish you would have said how long they've been together.
6 months.
Oh, I missed that part. Twice, apparently.
Yeah.
Because you had to start the email over because the food came. You're still real new. 6 months is nothing.
I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't try to start taking over things.
No, I wouldn't either.
It would be more of a getting to know you, what makes you tick, what can I do to make you happy.
Right.
And then past that 1 year and a half mark of things getting more serious and the future being talked about, then we can start talking about the roles of, well, this is what I want to be in marriage and this is what I want to be for you.
Yeah.
Long term and that kind of thing.
I think there is definitely things that you can do before moving in with somebody to like start building that foundation and solidify who you are as a gentleman.
Don't let her pump her gas.
Right. Simple things, real simple things. But you can do that without being a pushover or being taken advantage of. You just have to set your own boundaries.
Right.
But if you're not living together yet, those boundaries need to be very clear, and the that whole scenario needs to be pushed. You need to pump your brakes a little bit.
Yeah.
Until you're living together, you're not really you're in a relationship, you're dating.
Yeah.
You move in together, that's a different process. And once you start like living together, that's when those roles really come into play. You can be a gentleman and not live together.
So I can already feel it now. I mean, I know I've already pissed off a lot of people with the things that I've said, but me saying don't let her pump her own gas, people are going to fly off the handle for that.
Oh, yeah. Can't say let.
A woman can do anything that she wants to do.
Yeah.
I'm just going to pose this to you. How would you feel if your man went to go get out of the car and you're like, no, babe, I can pump the gas. Be like, no, you sit there and you look pretty. You're not going to get out here in this heat and sweat. No. You say that shit to me and I melt.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll sit here and look pretty for you. I don't have to touch the gross gas handle, and sometimes it's hard for me because of my nails. Like I have to like click it really hard, and I have to use hand sanding when I'm done. Let you deal with all of that. I'll sit here and look pretty for you, Daddy.
I don't understand why people want to make an argument out of things like that.
Just let people love you.
Right. Well, but even then, like, you're really creating conflict where there is no conflict.
Yeah.
You are making an argument simply to make an argument because you feel the need to be heard. If that's where you're going, people don't want to fucking hear you anyways.
Well, you're also defending yourself, and what are you defending yourself against?
Right. Yeah. There's no reason for that.
Yeah.
People don't want to hear that shit. When you're trying to get attention by being loud and aggressive in that manner, I don't know. I roll my eyes at this shit.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that video of the couple at the gas station? And they're in a screaming match with some random person at the gas station, and the husband gets out of the car, and the wife comes around and starts screaming at him, "Get in the fucking car."
I have seen that.
Just watching her do that, I was so exhausted.
Yeah.
I let my man handle it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd have left her at the gas station.
That's not attractive. It is not.
Respect goes a long fucking way.
Gosh.
How you talk to your person matters more than how you talk to anyone else on the planet.
Right.
Because you're supposed to be committed to them forever. So if you're screaming and yelling and talking down to them, that's a problem.
And people can say, well, that was a byproduct of her arguing with a stranger. I could be in a screaming match with some random woman, and you come into frame, you're getting a totally different side of me in the middle of the screaming match I'm having with this woman.
That's because you're emotionally regulated.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Most people don't have that emotional regulation. And then they want to say that men are not emotionally vulnerable. Well, if you're not emotionally regulated, why the fuck would I want to delve into my bullshit with you, knowing that you're unstable? That's how I view that.
This is kind of off topic, but still on topic. People die on the hill that all men are physically abusive. Right?
Who the fuck says that?
Feminists.
Okay.
I mean, I believed that for a very long time growing up, only seeing men beat the shit out of my mom. Like, that's all I believed that men were. I didn't have another version of that.
Okay.
The only gentlemen that I saw were in movies. And we all know that movies are fake. So that was my reality. I would go on a limb and say that there are far more emotionally violent women than there are men who are physically violent with
Oh, I
women.
agree. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. You guys are vindictive. By
We are
nature,
nasty.
you are vindictive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Men will get angry about something and forget why we're angry and just remember that we were angry, and eventually that anger will just fade. It's gone. You guys will remember something that happened to you in 1982 because somebody's toenail polish was the wrong color with their flip-flops, and like you're going to hold that grudge forever. It's fucking weird the way that all that works. You guys got long memories. We don't.
Yeah, I've actually had to unlearn that.
Yeah.
That was part of my toxic cycle within myself. Looking back on past shit and going, I will never forget this because fuck that person. 10 years have gone by and I'm still, every time I think about it, I get mad at it. That's only doing a disservice to me.
Right. But you're also holding on to that just so that you can use that as a weapon later. You did this to me. I'm the victim.
Oh, I did that with people who were no longer in my life.
Yeah.
Like, just in case we ever cross paths again.
Right.
Fuck you. I'm going to remind you that you did this to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very disgusting mindset. It's a very sad mindset. I think of that mindset and I know that people still live that way, and I just, all of my empathy to you. That's a miserable life to have. And I know that you're sad. I know that you're miserable. I was that person, so.
This is one of those things too, though, that is a you problem.
It is.
And when it comes down to it, like, those people who have done you dirty either don't care that they did you dirty, they're living their life one way or another, or even if they did care, it's not going to change that it happened. So you holding on to that doesn't matter. And they've got their own level of shit to deal with, and they've got their own fucking problems. So while you're angry and feeling the way that you're feeling, they've got the same thing going on in their life.
Mm-hmm.
That animosity is pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee the people that were doing dirty to me did not care that they were doing dirty to me because I didn't care I was doing dirty to other people.
Right.
You are the people you run with.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody in your life is doing your dirty, you should take a step back and reevaluate the actions that you're doing. Yeah.
That picture is so fucking satisfying to look at.
That one?
Yeah.
I did good with that, didn't I?
You did. You nailed that shot. And I don't know if it's because of the exposure settings and how bright white those leaves are, but like that is definitely something for me to focus on while we're speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job on that one.
I'm glad I could provide that for you.
Is that the end of that email?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I'm just gushing for a minute because a professional photographer said good job on that one. Thank you. And he's my husband. Stop it.
That's funny.
In life, really, your opinions about the things I do are the only ones that I care about.
Yeah. It's the way it's supposed to be.
Like, of course, I have my opinions on things, and yours is a secondary opinion.
Right.
If you didn't like that photo, I don't care. I like it. I'm going to leave it there.
Right.
But knowing that you like it and that you complimenting, you don't give out compliments just to give out compliments.
Right.
This is not a participation trophy. So it does mean a lot.
The fact that you just had to say that your opinion obviously matters too is proof that the attacks that are happening on social media is changing the way that we have conversations.
Oh, I only did it on camera because,
right.
yeah.
Right. It's changing the way that we have conversations.
It is.
It's changing the way that other people are having it too, because you feel the need to specify that when that's obviously, it's a common sense thing.
Right.
Your opinion should always matter. You should love yourself above everything else. Like, you can't love others until you love yourself, kind of thing.
Did I not say that as obviously?
Well, no, you did. You had to say it though. And you
Right.
shouldn't have had to say that. If my opinion is the only opinion that matters to you outside of like,
Oh, of course. I mean, I am.
right. You shouldn't have to say that though,
Right.
because your opinion and your thoughts are yours.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, the people that you love and trust and value, those are the opinions that matter. Beyond that, they shouldn't matter to you. And the fact
Okay.
that you had to specify that is kind of disgusting.
It is pretty disgusting. And I think going forward, before I say something like that, and be a disclaimer for the hurt ones out there,
Yeah.
and then lead into that. Because those are the only ones getting offended by a statement like
Right.
that. You're damaged and you're hurt, and you're doing absolutely nothing about it to fix yourself.
Or
You're
they're
waiting.
reaching for a reason to create problems on the internet.
They're looking for a Bob the Builder.
Can we fix it? Yes, we can.
I mean, not you if you're not putting in the work yourself. Okay. I was just thinking, I can see why people think I'm a bitch.
Your goose is condescending as fuck, by the way.
I love him.
And you just angled him right at the chair.
He's my guard goose.
Yeah.
Dressed like a bee. That's the insult to injury. You're allergic to bees.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Taunt me, goose.
I myself want to further invest into our relationship, but I am unsure how to go to her or when the right time is to ask her to make that commitment to the idea of us without pushing her away. I can answer that one. Yeah, wait. You be patient. You be everything that... okay. Rewind. This is if you are with somebody you are certain you want to be with and they are not playing games with you. You wait and you're patient. And you are a strong support pillar in their life that they can turn to with no judgment, no shaming, and you are a safety for them. He put me through the ringer. Like, not like playing games and being shitty and talking to other women. There was a lot of trust that had to be gained there. Mm-hmm. And I went with it. And there were days that you were going through it and you would blow up on me and I'd be like, I'm sorry you're having a bad day. Is there anything I can do to help make you happy? It's patience. It's grace. You can't push it. You can 100% scare off something good.
Everything that you just said is valid. However, I also think that conversations need to be had. If they're 6 months in and they haven't had a conversation about the future yet, that's a problem. 6 months is not a long time, but you should be having conversations of like, what does the future look like for you? Do you want to be married?
Okay.
Do you want to have kids? Do you want to buy a house? Do you want to buy land? Do you want to retire on a boat? Like, you are supposed to be finding the ins and the outs of your person this entire time. And now if you've been doing that this entire time and you're 6 months in and you're ready to really like commit to this person, the conversation of moving in together might need to come up.
Okay. So now I have a question for you.
Okay.
Because I would try to have those conversations with you and you were like, we should just live in the now.
Right. Because I was going through a lot. I was protecting my mental health and like not trying to make borderline decisions in borderline moments.
Okay. I think that's important to know
Right.
because people do say that. Let's just live in the now. And it could be for various of reasons.
Yeah. Well, those conversations should also be had.
Yeah.
But I also have an emotional maturity about me, and I've done a lot of digging into my darkness to figure out what's what for me. So I know I'm very aware of me, and I wasn't always that way, but like I taught myself that shit. So, that could also be a let's just live in it now. Could be code for I don't think I want to go any more than what we're doing. Like you need to ask those questions. Those questions should be asked between two people, and those conversations should be had. Mm-hmm. But again, if he's wanting to move forward and actually solidify this and make this like a lifelong thing and he's got the feelings for, then maybe he needs to just go to dinner with her one night and be like, all right, look, we've been doing this for 6 months now. I'm, starting to fall for you or whatever. And I want to be the man that you've never had before. What does living together look like for you? Is that something that you're interested in? Do you feel the same way? Like, have the conversation. The absolute worst that's going to happen is you're going to continue living the way that you're currently living. And it sounds like you're kind of okay and happy doing that. So if that's the case, keep doing it. And if she's like, well, this is just a fling for me, then you know that there's no real longevity there.
Right.
And you have options. Knowledge is a good thing to have, because it gives you routes to take. Right. If you don't know where you're going, you're never going to have the direction to get there. So...
The both of us have so much that we relate to, and I admire so much about this woman. She is such a strong, loyal, smart, and kind person, and unfortunately went through so much that she did not deserve. I want to develop and nurture this relationship we have and build it to where we can both be vulnerable and open with each other. Thank you for what you do for society, and look forward to further supporting you guys.
That's the second or third time that he mentioned all the shit that she went through in that email.
Right.
Is this some sort of like savior thing? Like, are you trying to jump in and save the day because she had a rough past? What happens when things are going good and that savior thing is no longer there, and there's nothing there for you to try to
fix.
Right.
That's when boring comes in.
Right. Just something to think about. Obviously, it's not.
Right. That's not like across the board for
No,
everybody.
no, it was just a thought because
Right.
he mentioned it twice, like, or 3 times, however many times he mentioned it.
I mean, it's very important to ask yourself those questions anyway. Even if you're certain that's not the case, you should look into it anyway. Yeah. Just the 0.5% chance that could be a possibility. You want to see all of the ways that could play out and the ways that you would react to the situation, especially if you want to be in a relationship with her. Hey guys, if you enjoyed that, found it entertaining, funny, or even learned something you didn't know before, share it. And if you're not subscribed, why aren't you? And for those of you who want to support us, get access to exclusive content and live streams, we do have a Patreon. All the links are in the description.